This guy. What a terrifying display, Lung Fuyao muttered, staring at the massive tribulation cloud expanding above the life and death dual spring. Unlike the pill tribulation caused by alchemy, a tribulation cloud from a breakthrough is a direct response to the strength of the one attempting the breakthrough. If they fail, they perish. In contrast, failing to withstand a pill tribulation only results in the destruction of the pill. The two are fundamentally different. What a terrifying tribulation cloud, Lung Fuyao repeated. Judging by its intensity, it's already at least as strong as a 7th-tier life force, he added. His voice strained as he lifted his head. Although he had always known that Xiao Yin was extraordinary, seeing it firsthand left him utterly shaken. 7th tier? Yu Ru, calm and composed, shook her head. You're underestimating it. I'm a perfect 5-star Do D, but even with the inheritance rune's perception, I can tell this tribulation cloud is far beyond just 7th tier. Xiao Yin, deep within the life and death dual spring, could sense the overwhelming power of the tribulation cloud despite the distance. A mere 7th-tier tribulation cloud isn't enough, he murmured. With a swift, determined move, Xiao Yin activated the flame mantra, absorbing the surrounding life force from the spring. The power surged through him, transformed, and shot toward the sky, intensifying the tribulation cloud above. This guy, he's got guts, Xiaoqi exclaimed in disbelief. He's deliberately provoking the tribulation cloud? Lung Fuyao asked, confused. Exactly. The cloud was only 7th tier, but Xiao Yin wasn't satisfied. He absorbed all the life force from the spring, feeding it into the tribulation cloud. Now the cloud senses this overwhelming life force and believes the one undergoing the tribulation is stronger, so it's growing even more powerful, Xiaoqi explained. Isn't that dangerous? Mu Yingying and Yu Ru asked, alarmed. Of course it's dangerous, Xiaoqi replied with a grin. But danger and opportunity often go hand in hand. Xiao Yan's taking a gamble. As a prodigy of Myriad Flowers Pavilion, Xiaoqi rarely thought highly of others, but Xiao Yan had completely shattered his expectations. Now, Xiaoqi regarded him with a mix of awe and disbelief, as though he were looking at a monster. It's already reached 8th tier, Qin Xian commented after a short while. And it's still growing, she added, her voice tinged with disbelief. 8th tier isn't enough, Xiao Yan muttered, a gleam of madness in his eyes. Without hesitation, he absorbed the remaining life force from both springs, channeling it all into the tribulation cloud. This guy, he's completely insane, Xiaoqi said, watching as the tribulation cloud's power surged, far surpassing the 8th tier life force. At this rate, it might even reach the terrifying 9th tier. A 9th tier life force, though extremely powerful in battle, came with an equally terrifying 9th tier tribulation cloud. If it gets too dangerous, we'll intervene, Yu Ru suggested after some thought. Agreed. The others nodded. Xiao Yan really doesn't play by the rules. A 9th tier tribulation cloud, they murmured, bracing themselves. It's enough, Xiao Yan thought as he stared at the sky, noticing that the tribulation cloud had reached its limit. The life force from the spring had been completely drained. Yet Xiao Yan knew that this cloud, now a fully formed 9th tier tribulation cloud, held power beyond imagination. If he could survive this, he would undoubtedly gain the elusive 9th tier life force. With a splash, Xiao Yan leaped from the life and death dual spring, soaring directly into the heart of the tribulation cloud without looking back. The cloud crackled with ferocious energy, and the moment Xiao Yan entered, lightning struck him fiercely, causing him to wince in pain. So painful. Xiao Yan couldn't help but groan. The 9th tier tribulation cloud was no joke. Despite his incredibly strong body, the cloud's power made him feel utterly helpless. Xiao Yan's entered the cloud, Lung Fuyao said, lifting his head to watch the fiery figure within the storm. Xiao Yan's expression turned tense as he watched. This guy, he's diving straight into the tribulation cloud? Qin Xian's face grew slightly grim. Everyone here knew how terrifying the tribulation cloud was, feared even by mortals. And yet, Xiao Yan plunged into it without hesitation. Heh, well now, let's see if you can meet my expectations, Xiao Yan murmured with a faint smile as he entered the roiling clouds. Instantly, He pulled out the long-dormant golden demon puppet from his storage ring. Thankfully, the power of life I gathered earlier triggered the tribulation cloud. Now it's up to you, Xiao said, wasting no time. He then channeled all the dark death force he had absorbed from the life and death dual spring directly into the body of the golden demon puppet. As that immense death force surged into the puppet, its eyes flickered with an eerie black glow, their depths suddenly dark and uncanny. It seemed as if they could draw in the very soul of anyone who looked at them. Gurgle, gurgle. But a moment later, the golden demon puppet's body began to shudder violently. What's happening? Xiao was shocked, seeing the puppet's sudden reaction after receiving the death force. Panic crossed his face. No, I can't let it explode. Realizing the puppet couldn't withstand such a tremendous amount of death force, he quickly unleashed his sacred flame and a handful of rare, high-grade herbs to stabilize it. Boom, boom, boom. With Xiao swift actions, the golden demon puppet finally calmed down. Its bronze-like skin rippled with pulsing veins, and an aura of unyielding defiance filled the air. Finally, it's stable. Xiao breathed a sigh of relief and then addressed the puppet directly. Next, it's time to absorb the tribulation cloud. Let's see what you can achieve after taking in the power of a 9th-grade tribulation cloud and the death force. Xiao guided the golden demon puppet into the densest part of the tribulation cloud. The puppet moved without hesitation, its expression unmoved, as if carved from bronze, diving straight into the stormy heart of the cloud. Down below, Mu Yingying and the others, who had been watching anxiously, couldn't help but let out a relieved smile as they saw this scene unfold. Shaking her head, Mu Yingying remarked, "Seems our worries were unnecessary. This guy really knows what he's doing." She smiled, gazing at the two figures amid the swirling clouds. "It's almost done," Xiao noted with a grin, as he watched the golden demon puppet absorb the last of the ferocious tribulation cloud. Not a single wisp of the cloud escaped, devoured entirely by the puppet. A strange, crackling energy began to ripple across its body, filled with an eerie lightning force that looked menacingly powerful. Just one more strike. Xiao focused his gaze on the intense center of the cloud, where the remaining energy had condensed into a minuscule but devastatingly powerful lightning orb, far more formidable than any previous attacks. Sacred flame, arise. Xiao furrowed his brow, knowing that despite the golden demon puppet's recent enhancements, he couldn't risk it being shattered by this final strike. Summoning the sacred flame, he enveloped the puppet with it as an extra layer of protection. Losing the golden demon puppet would be a painful blow. After all, it was his most loyal enforcer. Boom, boom, boom. The tribulation cloud, unrelenting, unleashed a thunderous assault, smashing into the golden demon puppet. Crack, crackle. The lightning-infused destructive energy surged through the puppet, but thanks to the protection of the sacred flame, it resisted the overwhelming force, narrowly avoiding a catastrophic breakdown. Well done, Xiao muttered approvingly as he watched the golden demon puppet slowly dissipate the remaining storm of the tribulation cloud. A satisfied smile crept onto his lips. But then, as the clouds faded, Xiao suddenly sensed an unusual force stirring within his own body. Within the Douqi Sea, this space, where his flame fiend beast and sacred flame crystal resided, was now in turmoil. To Xiao surprise, the flame fiend beast, usually calm, had opened its ferocious eyes, and its fiery form was abruptly replaced by a dazzling white life force. Roar! The flame fiend beast let out an unexpectedly joyful cry, its form shifting with a strange exuberance. What's going on with the flame fiend beast? Xiao was puzzled, trying to grasp the situation. Cultivating as a Dou-Di involved compressing the Douqi Sea, yet his Dou-Qi seemed concentrated within the beast's form. They say that to advance to the rank of Dou-Xian, one must first cultivate the power of life and death, perfectly merge them, and then compress their Dou-Qi to the size of a fist, forming a Dou-Core. Only then does one truly become a Dou-Xian master. Xiao tightly sensed the flame fiend beast within his body, as if lost in thought. It seemed that the Flame Fiend beast had already begun compressing the Do Qi in Xiao Yan's Do Qi Si. Could this beast have appeared due to the changes in his flame mantra, or the influence of the heavenly flames? Briefly pondering the matter without a clear answer, Xiao Yan decided not to dwell on it. After all, the Flame Fiend beast had just generated the power of life and was already slipping back into slumber. The power of life emerged. In the next moment, Xiao Yan's pupils widened as he let out a loud shout. Boom, boom, boom. The instant his voice fell, a surge of milky white life force erupted around him. Impressive. The strongest form of ninth-grade life force. Mu Feng couldn't help but exclaim at the sight. Life force is categorized into grades 1 through 9, with the 9th grade being the most formidable. With this kind of life force alone, he could probably contend with a strong early-stage 7-star Do D. I haven't heard of anyone in the Mystic 3 Heavens possessing 9th-grade life force, Mu Feng mused. Xiao Yan is the first, Xiao added, her tone filled with amazement. What terrifying life force! Just from this wave of energy, it seems dealing with an average 7-star Do D wouldn't be a problem, Xiao Yan remarked casually, sensing the immense power of his newly formed 9th-grade life force. Now, as for you... Xiao Yan turned his gaze to the golden demon puppet. At that moment, faint black energy swirled around the puppet's body. Xiao Yan wasn't unfamiliar with this energy. It was the power of death he had absorbed from the life and death dual spring. Let's see how far you can go. After sensing the puppet's energy, Xiao Yan realized that even with his current abilities, he couldn't gauge its limits. The golden demon puppet responded by gesturing for Xiao Yan to proceed. Netherworld Finger. Netherworld Palm. Xiao Yan unleashed two powerful Do techniques, imbued with radiant life force, directly attacking the puppet. The golden demon puppet made no attempt to dodge, allowing the full force of Xiao Yan's strikes to land. Boom, boom, boom. The sheer power of Xiao Yan's techniques, now enhanced by life force instead of Do Qi, was significantly stronger. What terrifying defense, Xiao Yan muttered as the dust settled. His attacks hadn't caused much harm to the golden demon puppet at all. Sizzle, sizzle. As the energy of Xiao Yan's attack dissipated, strands of lightning and death energy began to flicker across the puppet's body. It's absorbing both the power of death and the power of lightning from the Tribulation. I'd say with its sheer physical toughness alone, it could handle a mid-stage 7-star Do D with no problem, Xiao Yan said with a smile. Now that the golden demon puppet had reached a level comparable to a mid-stage 7-star Do D, it had become an invaluable trump card. Now that this matter's settled, let's go. With a casual wave, Xiao Yan retracted the puppet. It was best to keep such a trump card secret from as many people as possible. 9th grade life force, huh? When Xiao Yan returned to the main group, it caused a stir of surprise. You're not so weak yourselves, Xiao Yan said with a chuckle. We can't compare to you. Lung Fuyao pouted slightly, clearly looking at Xiao Yan like he was some kind of monster. It was one thing to have a sacred flame, but to be more skilled in alchemy, more talented in cultivating Do Qi, and even better at harnessing the power of life and death. It left even the proud Lung Fuyao a bit frustrated. How could such a person exist in this world? How did things go? Xiao Yan asked casually. All settled. The tokens for entering Guanghan Island are ready. We can head there now, Xiao responded. Yuru, didn't you need something related to the inheritance rune? Xiao Yan asked, suddenly recalling something. No need. Zhao Yu Fairy said earlier that we can go straight there after everything here is done. Yuru replied with a smile. In that case, let's go. With that, Xiao Yan led the way out of the life and death dual spring, and the others quickly followed. Nearly 15 days had passed since the Zhao Yu Fairy's relic site had been opened. During those 15 days, Xiao Yan's group had stayed hidden within the life and death dual spring, though others hadn't fared as well. First, there were Feng Hong and Du Chun, the two senior brothers from the ancient Desolation Palace. After Xiao Yan entered the life and death dual spring, and it became clear they wouldn't have a chance to get in, they left the swamp. Although the two focused their attention on the malice old monster, who possessed many valuable treasures, they suffered greatly due to his strength, as he was a mid-8-star Do Emperor. If it weren't for their skills allowing them to escape, Feng Hong and Du Chun might have been tortured to death by him. This is just bad luck. How is that malice old monster so strong? Feng Hong muttered with a bitter smile. Senior brother, you can't blame yourself. We just didn't understand enough about him, Du Chun replied with a grin, trying to lighten the mood. All right, you kid. Feng Hong glanced at Du Chun before speaking more seriously. Do you really see Xiao Yin from the Incense Pavilion as your rival? He asked, frowning. Absolutely. Xiao Yin. Ever since he stood out during the merit contest, I've sworn to surpass him, Du Chun said, smiling slowly. That's a good mindset. Work hard. I'm waiting for the day you lead our ancient Desolation Palace to glory, Feng Hong encouraged, though he knew deep down that surpassing Xiao Yin might be out of Du Chun's reach. Still, as his senior, Feng Hong was determined to help him as much as possible. By the way, senior brother, there's something else. When we entered the Magma Realm, we only saw Xiao Yin and Qi Haoran. Du Chun, despite his carefree nature, knew when to pay attention to critical details. I also think something's off about that. The Xinling royal family has always been mysterious. And just before Qi Haoran died, his aura was strange. Plus, Qi Haoqing ran off, so there's no proof left of what happened with his brother. But one thing is certain. With the current relationship between the Incense Pavilion and the Xinling royal family, the royal family will likely take advantage of this situation. After all, the grudge between them isn't something that started yesterday, Feng Hong said with a shake of his head. Those bastards! Du Chun exclaimed in a panic. Xiao Yin wasn't just a rival to him. If it weren't for Xiao Yin during the merit contest, Du Chun might not be where he was today. He felt deeply grateful to Xiao Yin. Calm down. This isn't something we can handle. Our priority right now is heading to Guanghan Island, Feng Hong said. Don't we need a token to enter Guanghan Island? Du Chun asked, looking puzzled. Yes, but not everyone needs one. We just need 2 tokens, one from Moonlight Island and one from Jade Rabbit Island to open the entrance, Feng Hong explained. In that case, let's go, Du Chun nodded. But we don't know where the battle soul is right now. That's something even Docian experts would envy, Feng Hong said, gazing toward Jade Rabbit Island with a hint of nostalgia. It was said the battle soul was located there. Feng Hong and Du Chun had originally planned to go to Jade Rabbit Island, but by a twist of fate, they ended up on Moonlight Island instead. No matter, let's head to the entrance of Guanghan Island. It's about time, Feng Hong said, and with that, they set off. Tsk tisk. Qi Haoran, that fool, was killed by Xiao Yin? That guy, arrogant as he was still a mid-7-star Do Emperor, and now he's dead? In a shadowy corner of Moonlight Island, a man sitting atop a stone spoke slowly, his voice tinged with something unusual. This man was none other than Gunny, one of Solomon's top disciples. Heh, that idiot was beyond saving. He thought teaming up with the Xinling royal family would help, but now there's just the 2 of us left. Another eerie man in front of Gunny said, his body flickering with green energy, something strange held in his hand. What do you mean by that, Wangxie? Are you looking down on me? Gunny asked, displeased. Although he was only an early 7-star Do Emperor, he was confident that in a real fight, he could hold his own against mid-7-star Do Emperors like Qi Haoran and Wangxie. Hee no, Gunny, that's not what I meant. I'm just saying the fewer people there are, the more we get for ourselves, right? Now that Qi Haoran and his brother are out of the picture, Xiao Yan's in big trouble, Wangxie said with a sinister smile. You have a point, Gunny admitted after a moment's thought. All right, put that disgusting thing away. It's time to go. They've already gathered the tokens from Moonlight and Jade Rabbit Islands, and they're about to open Guanghan Island. That's where the real treasures are, Gunny said, glancing at Wangxie with disdain. Wangxie heard this, chuckled lightly, and then pressed his hand into the head of the magical beast. In no time, a magical beast core appeared, and without hesitation, Wangxie swallowed it whole. Tastes amazing, Wangxie remarked after consuming the magical beast, his green aura faintly growing stronger with each bite. Let's go. With that, the 2 of them headed straight for the entrance to Guanghan Island. Just as they left, a familiar figure slowly appeared behind them. Hee, this human body feels quite comfortable. Though the suppressive force here is intense, after all, This is the relic of a Do Xian. Never mind. I'll let this foolish boy live a bit longer. After all, the ruthless Xinling King has already planted a formation inside Qihaoqing. Once the battle soul reveals itself, the devouring dragon legion will arrive. No matter how strong your battle soul is or how well you guard the relic, when Xinling King's men cause chaos, I'll swoop in and clean up. You can keep chasing after the battle soul, Xinling King, but as for us of the extraterritorial evil clan, our real prize is the untouched relic of the Jiaoyu fairy. That fairy was only subdued after 2 of our evil clan kings joined forces. Do you really think you'll obtain her inheritance so easily? These humans are truly naive. As Qihaoqing's eerie voice faded away, his eyes and aura returned to normal, though his vitality was now incredibly weak. Strange. Why am I here? He muttered, clutching his aching head. Ugh, my head hurts. Qihaoqing turned slightly, pressing a hand to his forehead. He hadn't noticed the faint, mysterious markings on his body. One was the teleportation formation placed by the Xinling King, the other, a blood curse from the extraterritorial evil clan. Meanwhile, more people were gathering toward Guanghan Island. The entire island, surrounded by mysterious barriers, now revealed a few figures moving within. From the outside, Guanghan Island appeared to be the smallest of the 3 islands, but its internal space was actually the largest. It was a hidden world within. The island was filled with interconnected pathways, but what stood out most was a grand purple crystal palace. The crystal palace gleamed with a peculiar energy, and one glance was enough to tell that its construction was extraordinarily expensive. It sat at the highest point on Guanghan Island, the most prominent feature of the entire island. At this moment, within the crystal palace, a few figures were slowly moving about. They've arrived? A soft, sweet voice echoed from deep within the palace, and soon after, a graceful silhouette appeared. The figure seemed to be trapped in a purple cage, her freedom severely restricted, a pitiful sight. The cage was oval and purple, and the woman sat within it, slightly upright. Behind her, 2 heart-like objects were rhythmically pulsing, each beat exuding an evil force. Fortunately, the woman emitted a powerful purifying energy that instantly dispelled the evil aura. The woman seemed to be hiding something with great effort. People have already gathered the tokens from Jade Rabbit Island and Moonlight Island. It won't be long before someone enters here. Before long, a man walked up to the outside of the crystal cage and spoke slowly. The man was dressed in a fiery red robe, radiating a strong and mysterious flame aura. Weren't you on Jade Rabbit Island? How did you get here? The woman asked quietly. I was worried something might happen to you, so I came to check on you. The man shook his head slightly. Do you know what that thing behind you is? The man in red asked. I do, the woman replied softly, seemingly unconcerned. These years must have been hard on you. The man's expression softened as he looked at the frail woman trapped inside the purple crystal cage. He knew that if it weren't for her, this place would have long turned to ashes. Don't worry. This thing won't be able to deal with me anytime soon. Tell me, do you think he'll come back? The woman asked, her gaze fixed not on the man in red, but on a statue not far from her crystal cage. The statue, about 5 meters tall, was intricately detailed, capturing every nuance. The man had an exceptionally handsome appearance, and combined with the arrogance between his brows, it was clear without a doubt that he was a powerful figure. Yet, behind the statue of this man was something black strapped to his back, though it was unclear what it was. However, it bore a striking resemblance to the ancient ruler of heavenly flames that Xiao Yin carried. Whether there was any connection between the two was anyone's guess. He will come, the man muttered, staring blankly at the statue before him, unable to help but speak. He knew that the statue was the only emotional support for the woman beside him, so he didn't say anything more. Sister Jiao, you always said that as long as I waited here, one day, he would come for me, the woman said softly, her eyes growing moist as she continued to gaze at the statue. How is the presence of the extraterritorial evil clan? The man finally asked, unable to hold back his curiosity. It's been quiet, but in the past few days, there's been some unrest. It seems that someone from the extraterritorial evil clan has infiltrated the ruins, the woman replied with a slight nod. This place is the ruins of Xiao Ferry. The restrictions here are so strong. How could any of the extraterritorial evil clans sneak in? The man in red was puzzled. If they use humans as vessels to seal their powers, it's possible for them to enter. The woman considered for a moment and then explained. I'll handle it, the red-clothed man said flatly. You want to leave here? The man couldn't help but ask as he looked at the frail figure in front of him. Unless he takes me away, I'm not going anywhere, she replied, her gaze still fixed on the statue. The Xiao clan? The Xiao clan really is a cancer on the Great Thousand Worlds. However, if I had to name the human clan that I, as a battle soul, respect the most, it would undoubtedly be the Xiao clan. The man murmured softly, seeing the woman's unwavering determination. Then, without another word, he disappeared. Brother Xiaomu, when will you come to take me away? The woman paid no attention to the man's disappearance. She continued to speak softly to the statue in front of her, as the surroundings fell into a peaceful silence once again. However, behind the woman, two hearts slowly began to emit a faintly evil aura. Is this the entrance to Guanghan Island? Not long after, Xiao Yan and his group arrived at the edge of Moonlight Island, which was the gateway to Guanghan Island. Heh, are you doubting me? Silverlight Mouse suddenly popped out of Mu Yingying's arms and spoke. I hope you're not lying to us, or else, Xiao Yan smiled faintly. You! Hearing this, Silverlight Mouse quickly buried its head back into Mu Yingying's arms, clearly frightened of Xiao Yan. This should be the place, Xiao said, scanning the area and sensing faint, concealed auras. He nodded. I must say, Guanghan Island is truly mysterious. From the outside, there's no way to detect anything within. It seems like the dangers here will be even greater than the other two islands, Xiao Yan commented, his eyes focused on the tightly sealed entrance to Guanghan Island. Of course. Did you think just anyone could enter Guanghan Island? Silverlight Mouse scoffed, clearly unimpressed by the notion. Others have arrived as well, Long Fuyao suddenly said after a short while. This is really bad luck. They say the battle soul is on Jade Rabbit Island, but there's no sign of any battle soul there, Hua Lixin remarked with some frustration. There's no battle soul on Jade Rabbit Island? Xiao Yan asked, surprised. It seems the real treasure is on Guanghan Island, Xiao Yan quickly realized and spoke. Let's see what everyone else has found. There's no rush to enter Guanghan Island just yet. After all, to open the entrance to Guanghan Island, we need the tokens from both Jade Rabbit Island and Moonlight Island. We already have the token from Moonlight Island. We just need the one from Jade Rabbit Island, Xiao Yan explained. Everyone here wants to enter Guanghan Island, so there's no point in hiding anything. I have the token from Jade Rabbit Island. Who has the one from Moonlight Island? At that moment, Meng Fei from Pill Valley floated into the air above the entrance to Guanghan Island, addressing the gathered crowd. In his palm, he tightly grasped an extremely mysterious item, and the crowd could faintly guess that this object was surely related to opening the entrance to Guanghan Island. A disciple of Pill Valley? Xiao Yan muttered. Most of the top disciples from the major sects had entered Moonlight Island, but those who had gone to Jade Rabbit Island included the likes of Hua Lixin, who was at the early 7-star Do D stage from Puppet Mansion, and the enigmatic Icewater from Heartless Valley, along with other powerful disciples. How had Meng Fei from Pill Valley gotten his hands on the token from Jade Rabbit Island? This alone was proof that this Meng Fei had some serious skill. An insignificant early 7-star Do D, combined with alchemist skills? This person could very well be a formidable rival in our pursuit of the inheritance rune, Xiao said softly. No sooner had he spoken than Xiao Yan sensed others arriving as well. The duo from the ancient Desolation Palace, Feng and Hong, Solomon's Gunny, the myriad Poison Sect, the Poison Sect, many factions made their presence known, and Xiao Yan quietly took note of them. Go ahead, Yuru nodded gently. All right. Seeing this, Xiao Yan rose slightly. You? Meng Fei from Pill Valley looked at Xiao Yan, somewhat surprised. Everyone had already heard the news that Xiao Yan had killed Qi Haoran. Xiao Yan, you dare show yourself again? You're the one responsible for my brother's death. I'll make you pay. As soon as Xiao Yan appeared, Qi Haoqing shot forward, launching an attack directly at him. Boom, boom, boom. Xiao Yin stood his ground, unmoved by Qi Haoqing's assault. He muttered under his breath, "Looks like the blood curse on him is hidden, but it seems his mind has already been corrupted by the extraterritorial evil clan." "Come back." Meng Fei, unwilling to let things escalate, intervened. After all, the priority right now was the ruins, not a personal vendetta. "You two, calm down. The most important thing at hand is the ruins. Your personal grievances can wait until after we're done here," he said after a brief pause. "Meng Fei, of course you wouldn't care. It wasn't one of your Pill Valley men who died. But that was my brother." Qi Haoqing's eyes reddened as he glared at Xiao Yin, hatred burning in his gaze. "Qi Haoqing, drop the act. I'm well aware of your Xinling royal family's dirty secrets. Don't worry, I'll be paying your family a visit sooner or later," Xiao Yin said coldly. "Humph." Qi Haoqing snorted, but his pupils briefly flashed red. Xiao Yan's words had clearly struck a nerve. He had realized Xiao Yin was aware of the blood curse lingering within him. "Enough. Focus on the task at hand," Meng Fei said, cutting off the argument before it escalated further. "Heh, seems like Xiao Yin has gotten himself into trouble with some big shots this time." Wang Xie chuckled darkly, eager to watch the spectacle unfold. "Wonder what the Incense Pavilion will do in this situation." "You never know, maybe Xiao Yin?" Gunny added with a mischievous smile. "Let's head over and join them," said Five Poisons, as he led his group straight toward Mu Ying's team. "What are you doing?" Xiaoqi asked warily when he saw them approach. Although the Incense Pavilion, Myriad Flowers Pavilion, and the Poison Sect had some connections, things weren't usually this direct. "By orders of our sect master, we're here to assist you," Five Poisons replied casually, accompanied by Lin Zhu. "Let's hope you don't cause any trouble," Xiaoqi muttered, though he didn't refuse. After all, he had received word from his own sect master that the Poison Sect would indeed be lending their aid. "Now, we just wait for Guanghan Island to open," Five Poisons said, going silent after his remark. "Did Xiao Yin really kill Qi Haoran amid 7-star Do Di?" Lin Zhu asked quietly, still in disbelief. "You know that, and yet you're here? Aren't you afraid Xiao Yin will?" Mu Feng began, trying to scare Lin Zhu. "I'm not afraid of the Xinling royal family. It's just that Xiao Yan's strength is terrifying. Mid 7-star Do Di, even senior sister would struggle to deal with that," Lin Zhu murmured, her gaze still fixed on Xiao Yin and Qi Haoqing above. "Let's begin," Xiao Yin said, watching as Qi Haoqing retreated, turning to Meng Fei. "I heard you're an alchemist too?" Meng Fei asked. "Our Pill Valley has vast resources. If you're interested in joining us, it might be worth considering. After all, we don't fear the Xinling Emperor." "And you think the Incense Pavilion does?" Xiao Yin replied with a faint smile, his eyes flashing with a strange, brilliant flame as he stared at Meng Fei. So you really do have some skill and confidence. No wonder you managed to kill Qi Haoran," Meng Fei commented. "Enough talk. Let's get started," Xiao Yin said, as a Silverlight mouse peeked out from his sleeve. "Come forth." Meng Fei frowned at Xiao Yan's abruptness, feeling slightly insulted by his lack of etiquette, though he wasn't someone with a venomous nature. Without hesitation, he stretched out his hand, and from his palm, something mysterious began to surface. An ancient scroll adorned with silver moonlight runes. "Guanghan Island, your master has returned, heh? The Silverlight mouse, seeing the scroll, immediately dashed forward and swallowed it whole. "Did you really just swallow it?" Meng Fei was startled at the sight. That scroll contained the method to unlock the entrance to Guanghan Island, but the script on it was completely incomprehensible to him. What do you know? Do you really think I'd betray you all?" The Silverlight mouse snorted dismissively at Meng Fei, then promptly ignored him. "Relax, this time I won't set you up." Xiao Yin smiled slowly. But as Xiao Yin smiled, Meng Fei's face grew increasingly grim. "This guy. You'd better not be up to any tricks. Otherwise, even if you gather disciples from all 3 pavilions, I'll make sure you suffer the consequences." Meng Fei spat out these words, glaring at the Silverlight mouse. "Let's begin." Xiao Yin, seeing the Silverlight mouse had swallowed the silver scroll and absorbed it, watched as silver runes started to appear one by one across the creature's body. "Leave it to me." The Silverlight mouse understood the gravity of the situation and wasted no time. It raised its claws, emitting beams of silver light that shot towards the mysterious Guanghan Island.